You got to be competent in your checking things out, okay? Don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody with your religious belief,
So
okay?
I'm trying to think of something that somebody would say about Paul with that. And I heard one just the other day, which was interesting. It was like, we just went through that a woman is not to have rule over a man or to teach a man. And they said, well, but Paul relied on
Galatians.
What were the couple that was teaching?
Oh yeah, not Ananias and Sapphira. What's his name? Aquila and Priscilla.
Priscilla, yeah. Right. And the answer that this guy gave was, it was plausible. So you couldn't really argue it. But it was like,
Well, you can.
Well, I know you can, but I couldn't because I was watching him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, well, I could see why people then would say, well, look, that was just circumstantial, because most women weren't educated back then, and you didn't want an educated woman to uneducated.
What would be your answer to that?
My answer to that is that I'm not sure that it ever said that the wife was the one teaching of the couple.
But even if she was, which it doesn't, but even if she was, Acts is
descriptive.
It's descriptive.
Okay.
It's before the epistles were written, and there was a different economy going on then. They did not have the Word of God. They did not have the instruction in writing. And if people were doing something, they were doing it simply to get things done.
Right.
The book of Acts, it tells us what happened. It doesn't tell us anything about what we are to do today. And so if anybody ever brings that issue up, like it says in Acts that this guy had daughters that prophesied. Okay. Yeah. What does that have to do with anything else in the prescriptive epistles? Anything.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Point.
So you have to remember the main point of the book of Acts. And I've said this, and I absolutely believe it's true, that 99% of all bad doctrine in the church stems from the book, a misunderstanding or a misapplication of the book of Acts. Because once you have that, and you take that and put it up against what Paul says in 1 Timothy 2:11 and 12 about women preaching, people are by nature going to default to Acts, and they're going to say, well, it was okay then, and Paul must be wrong. And by nature, they do not want to believe that what Paul says is authoritative. It's human nature to not do that. And so they will default to Acts. And that's why we have all of these churches all over America, these giant churches, okay? What do you call them? Mega churches. And who comes out on Sunday morning to teach? The husband and his wife. Oh, they did it in Acts, we can do it here. It's totally unacceptable. It is not acceptable, but they default to the book of Acts because they don't understand what God is doing through the book of Acts, leading into the epistles, which give us guidelines for the church age. Okay.
Good point.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep. Just remember that, and don't let people pull the wool out over your eyes on the book of Acts. Always remember that Acts is not there at all to establish doctrine. That is not the point of it.